You know that feeling when anxiety doesn't just feel bad, but it almost feels like it's pushing you out of your own skin, like something's trying to turn down the volume on who you really are.
Absolutely. That sense of disconnection from yourself when anxiety takes hold.
Yeah.
It's a really common thread in what we're exploring today. Our sources really illuminate why that happens and maybe more importantly, how you can start to, find your way back.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into the experience of anxiety and that whole journey towards reconnecting with yourself. We've got a really interesting mix of perspectives. We'll start with the raw emotion captured in Doechii's visualizer for her track anxiety.
Hmm.
Then we're going to look at insights from Dr. Sisuodoit's piece, From Beats to Breakthrough. It kind of bridges that emotional expression with practical strategies from her book, Anxious No More.
Right. Connecting the feeling to the action.
Yeah, and finally, we'll explore the Heart Rest blog post, Why Anxiety Feels Like Losing Yourself and How to Get You Back.
Yeah.
So, our goal here is really to unpack the many layers of anxiety, what it feels like emotionally, what's actually happening in your body.
And the practical steps, the concrete things you can do to feel better and, well, more like yourself again.
Okay, so let's plunge right into that emotional landscape with Doechii's anxiety.
Yeah, the lyrics are so direct. Lines like, anxiety keep on trying me. I feel it quietly trying to silence me. That really hits on how persistent and almost like underhanded anxiety can feel, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's not always this huge, overwhelming panic attack. Sometimes it's more subtle, just chipping away at your inner peace.
Yeah, that phrase about anxiety trying to quietly silence me, it really speaks to how it can undermine your confidence, your ability to even speak your mind.
Hmm.
It feels like a more nuanced take than just feeling overwhelmed. It's like your own voice is being muffled from the inside.
And it's fascinating how anxiety can just, you know, fixate your attention on threats and self-doubt. It effectively shrinks your world,
Yeah.
makes your usual sources of joy or self-definition feel kind of distant, maybe irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then there's that recurring line, somebody's watching me, especially
Yeah.
with the Doechii sample layered in.
Yeah.
It creates this feeling of being constantly observed, like almost an internal paranoia. It really
Yeah.
highlights that gap, doesn't it, between how you might look on the outside versus the turmoil happening inside.
That feeling of paranoia is, wow, it's powerful. Do you think that resonates more with certain types of anxiety or maybe certain personality traits?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean, while feelings of being watched can certainly be heightened in, say, social anxiety,
Mm.
the underlying feeling of scrutiny can also pop up in generalized anxiety. You might feel like you're constantly judging yourself, even when you're totally alone.
Right, like an internal judge.
Exactly. And what's so powerful about Doechii's song, as Dr. Sawadi points out, is how art can give voice to these really personal struggles. It offers that recognition for people going through it. It's like a clear message. Hey, you are not alone in feeling this.
Which brings us so neatly to the heart arrest article and this idea of anxiety making you feel like you're losing yourself.
Mm,
They explain how anxiety can actually sort of warp your perception of reality, like your internal GPS is malfunctioning.
exactly. Anxiety can forge this real disconnect between your thoughts, your feelings, and your core sense of who you are. The article points right to the physiological responses. That rush of adrenaline and cortisol.
Racing the heart.
Yeah, the shallow breathing, the tense muscles. It's like your body is constantly stuck in fight or flight mode, even when there's no obvious danger.
Mm.
And that sustained state of high alert, it can definitely make you feel detached, like you're, I don't know, watching your life from a distance or something.
It's like your body is screaming alarms, but your mind can't find the fire. That feeling of disconnect must be incredibly unsettling. And the article also touches on how the negative thought patterns fuel those feelings of inadequacy, isolation,
Mhm.
really chip away at your self-esteem.
Yeah, and what's crucial to get is that these bodily reactions and these negative thought spirals, they aren't just abstract ideas. They have a very real impact on how you see yourself, your place in the world. That feeling of not being present or feeling disconnected, it's a direct consequence of all this internal chaos.
Okay, so we've seen how deeply anxiety can mess with our sense of self.
Right. So having understood that, let's maybe turn our attention now to what these sources offer in terms of, actual steps we can take to navigate this and find our way back.
Right, because anxiety doesn't just make you feel bad now, it can actually start to erode your fundamental sense of who you are, really diminish your confidence. The Heart at Rest article gives a really relatable example. Someone who maybe used to enjoy public speaking develops anxiety, and then they start associating their whole identity with that feeling of embarrassment or inadequacy.
That's such a powerful illustration of how anxiety can hijack your personal narrative, right?
Hmm.
A single negative experience just blown up by anxious thoughts can start to define how you see yourself. It overshadows past successes, your actual abilities.
It's like anxiety puts on these, I don't know, funhouse mirror glasses that distort how you see everything about yourself.
Totally. And it's not just about past stuff, is it? The article also explains how anxiety can actually skew your values and beliefs.
How so?
Well, you might become incredibly self-critical, like really harsh on yourself, downplaying anything good you do and magnifying every tiny perceived failure.
Ah, okay.
Precisely. That inner critic just gets louder and louder, almost unbearable. And this constant negative self-talk, it just reinforces that feeling that your identity is somehow flawed or not enough. It becomes a vicious cycle.
But the really important message, and I think this is key from the heart rest piece, is that these feelings of loss, this sense of disconnection, they don't define your entire existence.
Absolutely not.
Reclaiming that sense of self is totally possible.
And that's the perfect transition, really. Moving from understanding the emotional and psychological hit to exploring solutions.
Hmm.
Dr. Sidgway's book, Anxious No More, which she talks about in her piece, really steps into this space.
Okay.
So while Doechi's song offers that crucial validation that, yes, that's exactly how I feel moment,
Which is so important.
incredibly important.
Mm.
The book, though, is focused on providing tangible tools and strategies for transformation.
It's such a helpful contrast, isn't it? The song gives voice to the experience,
Hmm.
and the book gives you a practical roadmap for navigating it. Dr. Sidgway mentions her book blends biblical encouragement with evidence-based mental health strategies.
Right, like CBT concepts, maybe?
Yeah, and reflection prompts, prayers, personal stories. It sounds like a really holistic approach.
It does. It's about moving beyond just acknowledging the feeling,
Yeah.
to actively participating in your own healing. As Dr. Sidgway puts it so well, music tells the story. Healing writes the new ending.
I like that.
Yeah, it's that shift from awareness, okay, I recognize this feeling, to action. All right, what concrete steps can I actually take to change this?
And the Heart at Rest article echoes that perfectly with its section on practical strategies. They highlight mindfulness, for example.
Yeah.
How focusing on the present moment, even through something as simple as like paying attention to your breath
Yeah.
or just engaging in mindful walking, can really help lessen anxiety and build a stronger connection with yourself.
Mindfulness is such a valuable tool, isn't it? For anchoring you in the present, interrupting that cycle of anxious thoughts about what might happen or dwelling on what did happen. It's about intentionally bringing your awareness back, right here, right now.
They also talk about grounding techniques, and the 5-4-3-2-1 method sounds really useful. Identifying, what is it? 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch.
3, you hear. 2, you smell. 1, you taste. Yeah.
It's like a quick sensory reset button when things feel overwhelming.
Exactly. It's a way to use your senses, which are always in the present, to redirect your attention away from that internal storm of anxiety. Brings you back into the current moment. It's a really tangible method for, regulating your emotions quickly.
And then there's cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which the article mentions as being key, especially for challenging those negative thought patterns and kind of reshaping your self-narrative. They even suggest journaling as a tool for that kind of reflection.
Right. CBT essentially helps you become aware of those automatic negative thoughts that fuel your anxiety. And then it teaches you techniques to actually question them, challenge them, and reframe them in a more balanced, realistic way.
So you're not just accepting every negative thought as fact.
Precisely. By understanding that link between your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, you can start to build a more positive, more realistic internal dialogue. And that's just so crucial for reclaiming your sense of self.
Okay, now, something else the Heart Art article really stresses is how isolating anxiety can be. And because of that, how incredibly important it is to build a strong, reliable support system. It's so easy to feel like you're the only one going through this.
Oh, definitely. That feeling of isolation can actually make the anxiety worse, amplify it. Building a support network, finding empathetic, understanding people, whether it's family, friends, maybe even colleagues, provides such a vital buffer. Just knowing you have people who care and, crucially, get it can make a huge difference.
And the article highlights the benefit of openly talking about your feelings and experiences. I know it can feel scary being vulnerable like that, but it can really reduce that sense of loneliness, foster connection, that feeling of belonging.
Absolutely. Sharing your struggles doesn't make you weak. Actually, it often allows others to offer support. And sometimes it encourages them to share their experiences too. That creates deeper connections, mutual understanding. It breaks down the stigma.
Of course, the HeartX article also underscores the crucial role of professional mental health support.
Yes.
Therapists can offer that personalized guidance, teach you specific coping strategies tailored just for you, your unique situation.
A therapist provides that safe, non-judgmental space to really explore the roots of your anxiety and develop effective long-term strategies for managing it. They can also help you challenge those really deeply ingrained negative beliefs that contribute to feeling like you've lost yourself.
And they also mention the value of group therapy and support groups.
Yeah.
That sense of community, shared experience, it can be so powerful just knowing you're not navigating this journey alone.
Hearing from others facing similar challenges can be incredibly validating. Plus, you might pick up new perspectives or coping mechanisms you hadn't thought of. It fosters that sense of shared experience and, really importantly, shared hope.
And it all kind of circles back to building resilience, doesn't it? The
Yeah.
article mentions things like mindfulness, which we talked about, physical activity, cultivating gratitude, ways to strengthen yourself.
Exactly. Both for managing the anxiety itself and for strengthening those support systems around you.
Resilience isn't about never feeling anxious again.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's about developing the capacity to navigate those challenges when they come up and to bounce back.
Yeah.
Engaging in activities that support your overall well-being, mental, physical, emotional, is just fundamental to that whole process.
So, okay, to bring everything together, we've seen how anxiety can have this really profound, multifaceted impact. It's not just about immediate emotions, it hits our very sense of who we are. We've felt that raw emotional expression in Doechii's music, which gives that crucial feeling of being seen, understood.
Yeah, that validation.
And then we've explored actionable strategies from Dr. White's work and the Heart at Rest article, ways to heal, ways to build a strong network of support. You know that feeling
What's so
when
interesting is that
anxiety doesn't
dynamic,
just feel
isn't it?
bad, but it almost feels
Between
like it's
giving voice to those
pushing you
difficult
out of your own
emotions,
skin, like
through
something's
music,
trying to turn
and
down
then
the volume
actively
on who you
engaging
really
in
are.
practices
Absolutely,
that
that sense of
well-being.
disconnection from yourself
It's kind of
when
like
anxiety takes hold.
It's not enough to
Yeah.
just
It's a
acknowledge
really
the
common
feeling.
thread in what
You
we're
need to
exploring
take this
today.
proactive
Our sources
steps
really
to
illuminate
reclaim your sense of
why
self
that happens
and build
and
up your
maybe more
resilience.
importantly
It
how you
really
can
makes you
start
think
to
about that phrase
find your
Dr.
way back.
Wood used, the rhythm of
Exactly.
anxiety.
So today
Yeah.
we're
How
doing
can
a deep
recognizing
dive
that
into
rhythm
the
in your own
experience
life,
of anxiety
understanding its patterns,
and
its
that
impact.
whole journey
How
towards
can that
reconnecting
actually
with yourself
empower you? We've got a really
to,
interesting mix of perspectives.
write a new ending
We'll start with
for your
the
experience?
raw
That's a really
emotion
powerful question
captured
to
in
sit with, isn't
Doechii's
it?
visualizer
How can you take
for
that
track
awareness,
anxiety.
that recognition, and
Then we're
channel
going to
it?
look at insights
Channel
from
it
Dr.
into
Sisuido's
intentional
piece,
actions
from
towards
peaks
healing,
to
towards
breakthrough.
reconnecting
It
with
kind
who
of
you
bridges
truly
that
are
emotional expression
underneath
with
the weight
practical
of anxiety.
strategies from
If
her
this
book
deep
Anxious
dive
No
has
More.
resonated
Right.
with you, we
Connecting the
really
feeling to
encourage
the
you to
action.
explore the resources
And finally,
we've talked
we'll
about today.
explore the
There's
Heart Rest
Doechii's
blog post,
anxiety,
why
Dr.
anxiety
Schweitz's
feels